Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, border authorities in Eagle Pass are continuing to deal with the migrant surge along the southern border. And the replacement for the new Robb Elementary School put on hold due to project cost. Plus, a police chase in Baytown ended in a crash all over 3 pairs of stolen shoes.
Well, the holidays are here, and so is the rain and the cloud cover. You can see the shower activity that came through the area today. Guess what? It's only going to be getting heavier for the next 2-3 days. A little on the sloppy side through the weekend. We'll have more on your forecast coming up in just a moment.
A local restaurant is sending out blessings to the less fortunate right here in Victoria. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. Eagle Pass is facing an unprecedented migrant surge. The city observed record-breaking levels of illegal crossings Monday, with more than 4,000 migrants crossing in a single day. An additional 4,000 migrants are in U.S. Customs and Border Protection custody. Eagle Pass experienced an average of more than 2,000 illegal crossings per day before that number doubled on Monday. Now, because of the high number, checkpoints of the state have been forced to close and divert manpower to the areas. And now here's more details about the number of migrants in custody. Homeland Security leaders say Customs and Border Protection is holding roughly 27,000 migrants in processing facilities. Wednesday marked the 3rd straight day of more than 12,000 migrants crossing the southwest border, with over 10,000 crossings illegally between ports of entry. And Eagle Pass processing centers are at nearly 3 times their capacity. And as of Wednesday, nearly 6,000 migrants are in custody, with 5,000 waiting transportation to the processing centers. And Texas has sent a plane with more than 120 migrants from the U.S.-Mexico border to Chicago. The first flight had been arranged a week after Chicago City Council took new action over the busloads of migrants that have been drawing sharp criticism from Chicago's mayor. The city said bus operators tried to drop off people in neighboring cities to avoid penalties like fines, towing, or impoundment. A spokesman for Governor Greg Abbott said Wednesday the flights were the result of Chicago's mayor, quote, targeting migrant buses, unquote, from Texas. Earlier this week, Abbott signed a measure allowing local police, to arrest migrants who cross the U.S. border illegally. President Joe Biden is pressuring Mexico's president to help curb migration across the southern border. He spoke to Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador on the phone this morning. Both agreed additional enforcement actions are needed. Senior leaders like Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas are set to travel to Mexico to discuss further actions. Former President Donald Trump has already started using immigration as a hot talking point in his campaign. And now let's shift gears and take a look at the weather with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez.
Thank you very much, Karina. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I'm dressed for the holidays, and it's not your imagination. It just I'm like a Teletubby, actually. Anyway, so the showers have arrived, and it's going to be on the wet and humid side right on through the weekend. I'm showing you the big picture because we still have to get through that storm, and that's the one that's going to be coming in for the weekend. So we'll be talking all about your weather for the holiday weekend coming up in just a minute. Stay tuned. Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. In Baytown, holiday thieves lead police on a chase that ended in a vehicle crash Wednesday. It took place at a shoe store, and thankfully no one got severely hurt.
I don't feel like it's worth it. That wasn't worth it.
A Baytown famous footwear employee who wouldn't go on camera says around noon, a man walked into the store, chatted with employees, got sized, and then walked out with his 3 pairs of shoes without paying.
I said, hey, excuse me, hey.
The man got into his car. The employee called 911. She says she was connected to an officer patrolling the shopping mall. The officer began following the suspect's car, which sped away.
The screeching of the tires going that way, and then them going across the street, the honking, the sirens.
The suspect eventually threw these 3 pairs of shoes out his window. Police followed before calling the chase off. Still, we're told he blew through the intersection of Cedar Bayou, Lynchburg Road, and Wade Road, hitting an innocent driver.
Like, that's why I don't want to call, because sometimes that's scary to hear, Like, I'm thinking about that for 3 pairs of shoes, all of that.
Baytown police say a man and woman were in the fleeing car. Both went to the hospital and are expected to be okay. The driver of the other car refused treatment. This was the second police chase to end in a crash, the first happening overnight after a Pasadena WSS athletic store was robbed of around $5,000 in gear. That suspect fled to Houston. Police there say a tracking device in the merchandise allowed police to follow them. They engaged in a chase that ended in this crash. An innocent driver T-boned and a 31-year-old male suspect in custody. We asked HPD how this chase factors into their new chase policy. We were told they are reviewing and will get back to us.
The school set to replace Robb Elementary is put on hold due to the cost of the project. The Uvalde CISD Moving Forward Foundation confirmed the project is on hold while they await a second bid to see which is the most cost-effective. The foundation expects to receive the results this week and hopes to complete the analysis of the bids by next month. Also, a criminal investigation into police failures during the Uvalde school shooting will continue into the coming year. Since the shooting, there has been widespread criticism of the officers who stood outside the school and waited in hallways as the shooter could be heard firing an AR-15 style rifle in a classroom. Travelers may be paying more to take road trips this Christmas. Gas prices fell to $3.06 as of Monday, but since then, prices have gained an additional 6 more cents. That puts the price of a gallon of gas 17 cents less than last month and 2 cents more than this time last year. AAA Texas reports that the average gas price in the state is $2.69, but in Victoria, the average price is $2.57. Leading us to your Veer poll this afternoon, you can scan that QR code on your screen to vote. The question is, how do you plan to travel this weekend? By car, plane, bus, or are you simply staying at home this holiday season? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And of course, we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. A popular local restaurant plans to deliver hot meals for those less fortunate this Christmas. For 17 years now, Texas Seafood on Rio Grande opens its door to homeless people on Christmas Day. The owner of Texas Seafood say they love this holiday tradition.
Chicken, mashed potato, green bean soup, corn, bread, and ham and stuff like that. We try to keep one corner of Victoria feel warm this year, you know.
Texas Seafood will even deliver a hot meal if you cannot get out and about on Christmas Day. Just give them a call at 361-572-8538. The event is from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday, Christmas Day. For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com, and we still want to see your holiday pet photos. Go to our Facebook page for the link to submit your photos. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. A man is freed after spending 50 years in prison for murder. That's straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Also ahead, Fort Worth police are searching for a suspect caught stabbing a Grinch inflatable in front of a home. An Oklahoma judge has exonerated a man who spent nearly 50 years in prison for murder, the longest-serving inmate to be declared innocent of a crime. 71-year-old Glenn Simons, who was released in July after prosecutors agreed that key evidence in his case was not turned over to his defense lawyers, was officially ruled innocent Tuesday. He and another man had been convicted in 1975 and the death of a woman inside a liquor store and had initially been sentenced to death. Simon said he felt vindicated after his time in prison.
He had 50 years stolen from him, the prime of his work life, when he could have been getting experiences, developing skills. That was taken from him by no fault of his own.
The ruling makes him eligible for up to $175,000 in compensation from the state for wrongful conviction and opens the door for a federal lawsuit against Oklahoma City and law enforcement involved in his arrest and conviction. Donald Trump's former attorney, Rudy Giuliani, filed a bankruptcy in federal court today. This comes after a jury awarded $150 million to two former Georgia election workers. They argued Giuliani defamed them when he publicly stated the falsehood that they stuffed ballot boxes in the 2020 election. Giuliani's bankruptcy filing lists debts between $150 and $500 million. The filing indicates Giuliani had nearly $1 million in unpaid taxes and hundreds of thousands owed to his lawyers and accountants. The CDC is sending out a warning about a new COVID-19 variant. It's currently the fastest growing strain of the virus in the United States, and it's already dominating the Northeast, where it's estimated to cause about a third of new infections.
In a matter of weeks, it's expected to become the leading coronavirus variant around the world. JN1 has been dubbed a variant of interest by the World Health Organization because it's spreading quickly.
We kind of sensed something different was brewing.
Dr. Joseph Cabaza is a pulmonary and critical care physician at Cleveland Clinic. He says the past couple of weeks he's seen more people being admitted into the ICU with lung issues related to COVID-19.
They have not led to as many ventilators or nothing like the volume we saw early on, but it really, that has been the notable change.
The CDC estimates COVID-19 cases more than doubled in the U.S. between late November and mid-December, perhaps from holiday travel and waning immunity. JN1 only has one change to its spike protein compared with the variant it descended from, but that change seems to have been enough to make JN1 a fitter and faster virus.
If you have diabetes or obesity or heart failure, or especially if you're on medications that lower your immune system, you're in a higher risk category.
To protect yourself and those around you, Cabaza says to first know your risk, whether you're vulnerable to severe disease. Then, if you're having respiratory symptoms, test for COVID-19. If you're infected, antiviral medications can help if given early.
Minimizing your odds of being hospitalized or getting very sick.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Emergency contraception sales in the U.S. may surge following New Year's celebrations. A new study found the trend has occurred over the past several years, with sales spiking by 10%. New Year's Eve gatherings are often associated with an increase of sexual activity and sexual assault, and decreased access to contraception. The study found that Valentine's Day and Independence Day were also associated with more sales, but to a lesser extent. The spike in sales seen in previous years could be affected by the 2022 overturning of Roe v. Wade. A homeowner in Fort Worth is calling out a Grinch ahead of Christmas. Here's the moment a man destroyed a 20-foot Christmas Grinch inflatable just before 5 p.m. this morning in the front yard of a home. He also took out multiple other inflatables before getting into a getaway vehicle. The homeowner filed a police report for the yard decorations, which cost about $400. Bummer. What a Grinch.
Yeah, we know what he's getting for Christmas, not much. Anyway, folks, the holidays are here, and so is the cloud cover and the rain. Right now, we're at about 69 degrees, and it's rather balmy. I mean, this is really warm weather. We got up to 71 today, everybody running around in t-shirts and flip-flops, and not exactly December-like weather, but The rain is going to be the concern in the short term, and we'll be talking all about that coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. Well, good afternoon, everybody. We are ready to go for the holiday season. It is here upon us, and so is a cloud cover and rain. There's the city of Victoria, and you can see the shower activity that came through here a couple hours ago. And of course, at this time, it's beginning to decrease. But as I said, this is the beginning of the whole thing. We take a wider look, and you can see how North Texas has gotten some fairly significant rainfall during the day, all the way up I-35. And as I mentioned, if you're going to be driving around the state, you're going to be running into rain, which is bad. Not bad, but let's just say you've got to drive carefully. But it could be snow or ice, and we don't have that problem this year. So wetness all the way to North Texas, all the way down, even in San Antonio, they're getting light rain activity. But we actually sort of split this whole thing up into two storms. That storm's the one that's over us right now, but the main event is still off of Southern California, and they are having all kinds of troubles. Now, here is the last 24 hours in the crossroads. So there's Victoria. We had maybe a half an inch of rain on the north side of town, going up toward Hallettsville. A little bit of heavier rain down there in the Goliad area. And also, let's widen up the view and see what else we got. Well, all the way through Charco and Goliad and Yorktown, they got some heavier rain as well. So it's going to be on the wet side for the next couple of days. And you can see how you're going to run into pretty much rain wherever you go if you're driving. But if you're staying at home, it's going to be great. Have a little hot chocolate. No, maybe some iced tea because it's so warm. Now, I wanted to show you what's going on here. This is kind of like last year, a huge problem. Last year, you remember the West Coast just got slammed by these vicious storms. Well, there's another one happening through there right now. Places like Santa Barbara are already in massive flooding. So here's storm number one. Here's us down here. And you can see how that activity is going to be with us for a little bit tomorrow. And then it sort of pulls away. There might be a little break in the activity, but as we get into Saturday, the storm center starts to move across, and Sunday it starts moving into West Texas. So it's still on the wet side for Sunday. But by Monday morning, the whole thing blows through here, and that's the good news, that by Christmas Day, things are going to be clearing up, and then we actually have some nice weather for those couple of days afterwards. Here's a video from Santa Barbara. Yeah, is that a little rain shower, would you say? Look at that. I mean, they're on the coast, I understand, but they had feet of rain that fell today. And of course, it all is flowing out to sea, but the whole city and the whole West Coast and Pacific Coast Highway, if you know what I'm talking about, 101, they're all blocked and stopped by all this tremendous rainfall that has fallen down there. So let's take a look at what's happening for us. For those of you in the Port Lavaca area, 64 tonight, 68 tomorrow. That's about as warm as it's going to get. 71 tomorrow, the high in Cuero, and you can see right about there, fairly strong southeast winds. So it's not cold, but it's rather wet, and it'll be rainy on Saturday, and then a little break before Sunday's frontal system comes through. Then we clear out just in time for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. A little bit cooler as well. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, Honda is recalling over 2 million vehicles for a fuel pump issue. We have the list of the affected models straight ahead. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow up 322 points, the S&P 500 48 points, and the Nasdaq up 186 points. Oil down 26 cents, closing at $73.96 a barrel. Honda is recalling 2.6 million vehicles in the U.S. because of the fuel pump could fail. The models include the 2019 and 2020 model year Honda Accord, 2019 Odyssey, 2019 Pilot, 2019 Ridge Line, and many other Honda models. In early February, Honda will notify owners of affected vehicles to have the fuel pump replaced. There aren't enough parts available to fix all the vehicles at once, so Honda will notify owners in separate stages. The company isn't aware of any injuries or deaths related to this issue as far. Now, it's the best unemployment ratings ever seen since the U.S. started tracking people looking for work. Tuesday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported the annual jobless rate for 2022 dropped to 7.6%. Overall, 13 million people experienced unemployment in 2022, compared to just over 16 million the previous year. The report also said the 2022 job market was strong across most demographics. The Texas Tribune has a story about an immigrant and his daughter being among the few Hispanic farmers in the state. You can read this article by the Texas Tribune on our CrossroadsToday.com website. And stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast with Mac, plus a Christmas foe caught and arrested in north central Kansas. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight right after 25 News Now at 5.
Coming up next in New York, the deadly mass shooting just days before Christmas. At least 14 people killed, more than 24 wounded. Also, the major storm as the holiday travel rush kicks into high gear. And Rudy Giuliani filing for bankruptcy. Next.
Experience our streaming service Crossroads Today Plus, stream our daily newscast and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Now, Mac, you ready for this one? He's a mean one. That Mr. Grinch.
You're a mean one.
Let him hit that. Well, deputies in north central Kansas are doing something about it. The Phillips County Sheriff's Office says it captured the holiday foe thanks to Deputy K9 Fritz. They also thank the high school band and video editors for their assistance. Look at him, they tackled him down. The Grinch has been sentenced to Christmas spirit therapy. You know what? Luckily, no Grinches were harmed in the making of this video, but they caught him and now Christmas is saved.
The canine
Kids will get their
spirit
toys.
was there and he jumped all over him. So yeah, absolutely. So I'm dressed. I always do this for the holidays because you know, we got to get the spirit going, right?
Yeah,
right?
heck yeah.
So I'm ready for it, and you're ready for it too, I'm sure. The only thing you got to be ready for also is the rain. The rain began today. It's going to be more widespread over the area as we get into the weekend. So Friday a little sloppy, Saturday and Sunday as well. By Sunday night, however, it does pull out of here, and Monday, which is Christmas Day, is going to be very fairly nice. Little north wind blowing, getting us only to 65. Next couple of days, well, you know, don't look at the pictures on the calendar. Just know that it's the holidays, and we're all going to have a good time visiting with friends and family.
You ready for those tamales?
Oh boy, am I ready. I got my order in. I got to pick them up tomorrow.
And if you haven't ordered them by now,
Oh,
good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
You know, they told me don't come home without them. So I got to make sure I pick them up. So
Green or red tamales?
mild, spicy mild.
Okay.
So, man, 6 dozen. So it's
Six
a bunch.
dozen? Oh, you're feeding the whole family.
The whole
and
family.
then some.
Yeah, the whole family and
then
then some. Then so tamales are definitely on the table this weekend.
That's right. Alrighty, thank you, Mac, and thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with Dave Amir is up next.